Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I am going to start with posting a quick note in the comments, and hopefully I'll check after the live to make sure that it stays, that people can see it. I want to share, as we get into this topic on perfectionism, that one way to pull back from that is using a tool that I created, a free guide on 3 strategies to work less. Oftentimes we are working more and more and more due to perfectionistic strategies. I'll talk more about this during the live, and then we'll talk about this tool at the end. But I do want to make sure that you get the link to my 3 strategies to work less if you have any tendency towards perfectionism. So I'll circle back to that. Now, I want to start with, we are not lambasting any people. We are not being critical of anyone. We are looking at and decomposing maybe, or unpacking the idea of perfectionism today. And it can be really in a disguise as a quest for excellence, as a quest for doing your best, being the best. Those are a little different. And I really want to get into and talk about kind of what are, why is perfectionism bad? And it's not something you want to aspire to necessarily. And there's a lot of reasons why. The stress that it puts on your mind and your body that is different from a strategy of growth is very different. So let me just talk about kind of that allure of perfectionism. We think that if we're just do a little more and do a little more and do a little more, we'll be recognized, we'll be promoted, we'll be respected. And that attitude of nothing ever being quite good enough, always more, is perfectionism. And I'm going to go through a few different things. There's a book I'm going to reference a couple times throughout this chat, and it is called Perfectionism, A Sure Cure for Happiness. And you'll see, and I'll put it I'll add it to the comments as well, but it is by J. Clayton Lafferty and Lorraine F. Lafferty, both PhDs. And, it could be even things, and perfectionism wastes time. Perfectionism creates stress. Perfectionism will sap your creativity. Perfectionism will sap your productivity. One simple example, you're writing an email, and for business owners, it might be you're writing a post, you're writing an email that's going out to a whole list, or if you're just writing an email going out to, and I don't want to say just, if you're writing an email that's going out to your team or going to your boss. And I think particularly when it's going to someone that you revere or that you have great respect for, rereading it to ensure the message is accurate and to the point is one thing, but rereading it over and over, that's your perfectionism. All communications do not have to be A+ work. A communication with an error in it, with a misspelling or a grammar error is okay. It doesn't mean you're an idiot. It doesn't mean that you're not okay. It isn't that it's either perfectionism or stupidity. It isn't, this is a whole continuum. And if there's this unrealistic standard, and that's what perfectionism is an unrealistic standard, there's all sorts of room between that and what we think the illusion of substandard or poor or wrong. And so it really is, there are several poisons of perfectionism. One of them is that not only does it create a constant hum of stress, and the reason and actually one of the reasons it's creating this constant hum of stress is that it's constant. You've got this constant or chronic dissatisfaction. When you're pursuing an unattainable ideal, it often leads to a persistent sense of failure. Because if you're not here at the ideal, then you're failing. Then it's not okay. Things are not right. If you're not at the ideal, if you're not there at the ideal, then you're not enough. You're not good. You're not okay. You're not doing what's expected, maybe. And there's a couple of quotes I want to share with you, not out of this book, but a few other things. There's Bronnie Ware, and it's Bronnie, Bronnie, Ware, Ware, the author of the international best-selling memoir, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. She says, I wish, and this is one of the regrets, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I'm going to say it again. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. That is so important. So important to, when we're trying to hit this ideal, and I'm trying to keep my hands straight, it's so weird. I'm trying to achieve a standard of what my hand should look like when I put it over here. When we're trying to achieve this unrealistic standard, this ultimate perfection, this ultimate goal, this unattainable ideal, is often because we think it's expected of us by others. It doesn't matter. Be yourself. Being true to who you are, being true to your gifts, your talents, your preferences, that's what's going to bring true happiness. Another quote is by Brené Brown, and I love this, and I'm pretty sure this is out of her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, is, you are imperfect. You are wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. So we are imperfect. We are imperfect beings. There is no such thing as perfect. There is no such thing as normal. There's just no such thing. There is no such thing as normal. In fact, and I don't have the book with me, I think it's down in my daughter's little apartment in her basement. And I'll have to look it up, and I'll put it in the comments, because it is an amazing book, and it's about normal. And it's about the fact that there is no normal. And it's written by someone who has severe learning disabilities and was, felt he was stupid his whole life. The third quote that I'm going to share is by an American financier and statesman who, after amassing fortune on the New York Stock Exchange, impressed Woodrow Wilson by managing the nation's economic mobilization in World War I. He was chairman of the War Industries Board, and he advised Wilson on the Paris Peace Conference. And he said, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. I love this. I'm going to say it again. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So can you take these quotes and see if you can ease this chronic dissatisfaction. I'm going to end this here, and I think I may actually do another live at the end of the week and share a little bit more, because I want to keep these as close to 10 minutes as I can. There's a whole set of, I'll just share really quickly. I won't talk through them, but there are several survey questions in the book that talk about, it's never enough no matter what I do. And you grade it on a scale of 0, not much or very little, to 3, very much. Things like, no matter how well I do, it's never enough. I'm always in a hurry, even when there's plenty of time. I can't relax on vacations. I have a friend who said she can't chill on the beach. She has to be moving. She has to be doing. She has trouble relaxing. I put undue pressure on myself. There's different sections to this survey, to this assessment. Demand personal standards, perfectionism to prove self-worth, demands on self cause demands on others, internalized hostility, or poor self-acceptance. I often feel uneasy but can't pin down the reason. I dominate conversations. I feel guilty when I'm not working. How many of you have that one? And then there's another section a few pages later. That's on page 46. This is on page 58. The dirty dozen beliefs on which perfectionism is based. I will share this in a post later this week, maybe later today. This dirty dozen, I will credit, obviously, Dr. Lafferty's, the two Dr. Lafferty's who wrote this. But the beliefs that lead to perfectionism. I will share more out of this book as I haven't read the entire thing. I've read bits and pieces. You can see I've got it marked. I've read parts of it, but not end to end. So I'll share more of this. The bottom line is this idea that, there's nothing I do is ever enough, or there's always this strive for some unrealistic ideal standard, this chronic dissatisfaction. Sometimes it's an all or nothing. Sometimes it's that, no matter what I do, it's never good enough. If you have trouble celebrating wins that aren't the ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve, and achieve the wins along the way, that's another sign of perfectionism. And again, much of my work in coaching and leadership development is helping people to be themselves, to really come back to who they are at their core gifts, their core talents, to relieve stress. Because this constant hum of stress, and I always say that calm is here, a significant stressor is up here, and many of us are operating at this hum of stress here. And that is causing chronic illness. That is causing chronic pain. That will eventually lead to burnout. That will eventually lead to autoimmune disorders, chronic illness, cancer, MS, ALS, all sorts of things that are stress related. So please, let's, check out in the comments, you'll see a link to 3 strategies to work less. Because if we're not trying to achieve some ideal, perfect standard of, getting everything done and having everything be perfect, we can ease back on the hours. Easing back on the hours is going to lower that stress rate. Hope this was helpful. Have a very wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week.